foolish mortals.
Hello there. Are you insane? Get out of here!
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Right, off you go.
Welcome to Average Joe Orlando. Hello, theme park goers. Welcome to another episode of Average Joe Orlando. Today we're going to dive into another list, and we're going to look at some of the best and possibly most overrated, in my opinion, at Disney World, the parks, places to eat. As I was putting together this list, I was like, okay, we got parks, we got resorts, we have Disney Springs, and then it was quick service, and then it was table service, so there's so many options. And I started breaking it down by location, so I think today we're just going to talk about the parks, but talk about quick service and table service. And in my opinion, some of the best places to eat and some of the ones that are pretty overrated. To my opinion, at least overrated means people keep going there. It's popular, but I don't find it being the best. And this is either from other people's opinions, my opinion, a combination. Overall, Disney food is all right. There are some very good places that I definitely make an effort to go to. As a local, it's definitely not something that I'm always like, oh my gosh, I really need to go to this park and get this food. But if I'm at the location, it's definitely a place that I'm going to seek out if I'm looking to eat in the park. So I think we're going to break it down by park. So break it down now. Let's start. Let's go over to Animal Kingdom to start, which I think has some of the best food at Disney. Spoiler, Magic Kingdom to me has some of the worst. But Animal Kingdom has some of the best food. It always has. Definitely keeps changing throughout the years. They definitely keep changing menus. It'll open with something and then they'll kind of modify it. But something that has been a standout since the beginning, I'm going to say, is Satuli Canteen. Now, this is the quick service over in Pandora, the world of Avatar. I remember when it opened, everybody was really excited. The cheeseburger pods, and yes, the cheeseburger pods are fantastic. It's basically like a McDonald's burger inside a bao, which kind of probably sounds disgusting now that I'm saying it out loud. But trust me, it's really good. And they also have the bowls. So the bowls have changed throughout the years. They kind of have changed how they do them, where you could modify your protein along with maybe your starch, and then you could do a veggie and different sauces. It's a kind of a build your own bowl kind of situation. It's really cool too, because this is one of the first ones I remember them doing where they had the tables were, what am I trying to say? Like the recyclable bowls, kind of like they do in Disneyland Paris or some of the other parks where they do not paper or plastic utensils and everything like that. So it felt a little more upscale than it would if you're just eating at a quick service and kind of eating chicken tenders, which there's nothing wrong with Disney chicken tenders. But instead of eating chicken tenders out of more of a, one of those brown cardboard dishes, this was a little bit nicer. Very busy, always busy. I found in coming years, I've only mobile ordered now for a lot of the quick service. And at the beginning, I was definitely one of those people that were very anti-mobile ordering. I am not getting on my app. I am not sitting on my phone. I'm not going to wait. And now I'm like, no, I'm definitely doing it. Especially coming back from Disneyland where mobile ordering was definitely pushed. It was so much easier going on a ride, and as I'm getting off the ride, clicking mobile order and having it ready for me instead of waiting in the line. So Satuli Canteen at Animal Kingdom, one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites over at Animal Kingdom, and this one was pretty shocking, Tiffin's. So Tiffin's opened in the back of Pizza Safari, and I remember this was the expansion. So Pizza Safari back in the day was this giant quick service restaurant where you could have a pizza safari and eat mediocre theme park pizza. But they kind of cut the restaurant in half and turned the back into Tiffin's and the Nomad Lounge. And the Nomad Lounge, favorite, love that location. Not really known for their food. It's more bites, so I'm not going to include it on the list, but highly recommend the Nomad Lounge. They have an indoor and outdoor seating along the water. It used to be, before Avatar opened, very quiet back here, but now a lot of foot traffic comes in. Tiffin's, though, opened as like kind of this upscale restaurant, and I remember they just kept changing the menu. And they were trying to make an upscale restaurant in Animal Kingdom, and it kind of just didn't work because you're in a theme park all day, and if you're at Animal Kingdom, you're most likely sweating. So Tiffin's kind of kept modifying and changing. A Tiffin is one of those like silver canteen kind of things you bring with you when you go travel, and the whole idea is this like food bringing when you travel, but upscale. And it's a really neat restaurant because you can look out on the walls and see all the different pictures of Joe Rohde, the head Imagineer for Animal Kingdom, and the different Imagineers when they went on their adventures around the world to research Animal Kingdom. And it's kind of fun seeing a lot of their pictures on the wall and seeing, oh yeah, I remember like those prayer flags that they saw over in Asia, they actually brought over to the Asia section here of the park, or this architecture they brought over here, and where they got a lot of inspiration from. So it's a neat park restaurant just to look around in, but it's also really good food. I never ate there, and then I guess it was a month or two ago, we were at the park. I was like, well, we need to eat. It has availability, which it always has availability. Let's give it a try. And then just got a bunch of appetizers, and everything was really good. I was actually really impressed. I've always heard like mixed things about it, but it's definitely one of them that's on my radar as this is a place I want to eat at. And then another place that I like to eat at there is Yak and Yeti, the table service. I'll make sure I preface that. The table service section of Yak and Yeti. Very good. They have a small bar on the inside. It's 2-floor restaurant, got views of the park. The food was excellent. Now, this is run by a third-party company, the same company that owns like Rainforest Cafe and T-Rex, which will definitely come up as places that I avoid. But Yak and Yeti, just really good food. However, next door is the Yak and Yeti quick service. So if you can't get in, you might say, okay, then I can't get into the restaurant. I'll just get something quick service. That's one of my most overrated, ironically. Now, I remember back in the day, I'd be like, okay, this is just something quick. If you just want some quick food, it's not very cheap. It's a little more expensive, the Yak and Yeti quick service. So is the table service. However, at least you're sitting down at a restaurant. If you're paying for quick service, I am not paying table service prices. And it's a little bit more, feels like mall food to me, the quick service. So the Yak and Yeti quick service, ironically, is a overrated location for me. The Yak and Yeti table service is if you can get in and get a reservation, a definitely must do. And lastly, there is also one of the most overrated ones is the Rainforest Cafe. Now, there are 2 on Disney property. I don't know where else in the world they are. I remember a mall back home growing up at the Rainforest Cafe, and as a kid, I always wanted to go, and we were always told, no, we're not going there. And now as an adult, I go, okay, I see what they were onto. This is why we didn't go there. But there's one at Animal Kingdom. It's on the entrance on the left-hand side, and they have a separate entrance into the park that you can go through or come out of. And then there's also one at Disney Springs. They're always busy. They're always really loud. And it's, just overpriced theme parky kind of food that you're going to sit. You're there for the atmosphere, I guess, if you're into a bunch of screaming animals and children around. And they always try to upsell you with the different like collector's mugs that nobody needs. So to me, this is an overrated one. However, a popular one. I think we're going to work our way backwards to from Animal Kingdom to Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios, as I went through the list, I was like, wow, the food's kind of rough at this park. This isn't a park that I'm like, I really want to go and get a lot of food. Where do I normally go if I go into there for food? And even though I didn't include Nomad Lounge on my Animal Kingdom one, I'm going to include Baseline Tap House as a best location over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, Baseline Tap House does have some food to go. It's not a place that you sit down inside and a server comes by. You do kind of grab and go, and they have a charcuterie board. They have a pretzel with beer cheese, just a bunch of like little snacks. And it's great for the price. It's good quality. You can get drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, sitting outside, which is sometimes a problem in the summer. But Baseline Tap House, I find, is one of those places that I always try to go to. But then if you're looking for a bar that I think is overrated, at least, Oga's Cantina, sorry, Star Wars fans, to me is a little overrated. All the drinks are pre-batched, so there's no server or bartender that's making the drink. It kind of just gets poured out, which to me is always a little bit of a ripoff because I want to see them pour it in. Not that I drink, but, I want that. And the food isn't really known for it. Also, it's very loud inside. It's very small. It's mostly standing room, and if you do get a seat inside, you're going to be seated most likely with another family at the same booth. So I don't know about you, but I find that awkward. I'm the type that goes on a cruise ship and requests my own table because I do not want to sit with strangers. I'm not here to socialize. But Oga's Cantina is definitely one of those overrated ones. I do think a lot of people are like, ooh, it's Star Wars, it's food, let's go inside, and then go in and it's basically just a bar. It's cool to see once. But definitely not one of them that it's like, oh, I have to go every time I go to Hollywood Studios. Another one that, while we're on the trend of speaking about overrated, in my opinion, is the Hollywood Brown Derby. I've been here now more than once. And every time that I go, I always find this place overrated. And I want to like it so badly. I think the atmosphere is cool. I love the old Hollywood. Everybody says get a Cobb salad. And then you see the price and you're like, that's a price for lettuce. And it's just overrated. There has been nothing there that keeps you going. I really want to go back. And it stinks because it is a cool vibe. It is the old Hollywood vibe, which is what Hollywood Studios was going for, is going for. And it just doesn't work. They do have an outside seating area, which I found were just small plates that were kind of overpriced. It feels like I'm trying to be fancy, but I'm sweating in a theme park. And pick a lane. Am I trying to be fancy or am I in a theme park sweating? So, don't love the Hollywood Brown Derby. Now, the next one is one that's on my try list, and I'm talking to friends, one that everybody seems to enjoy, is the Woody's Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, or I think it's just called Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. It should have Woody's name in it, since he's right there at the front. But this is the all you care to enjoy barbecue restaurant that's located in Toy Story Land. And they do fun things where you hear Andy coming and everybody stays still at times. You get to eat as much as you want, and it's all barbecue food, which I know I'm probably biased, but I just like barbecue food, so that's why this is going on my list. And it's definitely one of those that are on my list to go, but after talking to friends, they're all like, no, this is actually a sleeper hit. Now, it is still going to be loud, so if you're like, but Joe, you said Oga's is loud. Why would you go to this one? This one's loud. But at least this one is food and more of a sit-down restaurant, too, where they have servers come by and more themed food, and it's fun for everyone. Plus, it's barbecue food. What's not to like? Next, for overrated, we'll go back and forth here. Sci-Fi Dine-In. Cool vibe. I remember going as a kid and being like, oh my gosh, we get to eat in the car and watch old movies. How cool is this? And it is really cool. However, at the end of the day, it is just diner food, very overpriced diner food. Nobody has ever got there and said, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. I really want to eat at the Sci-Fi Dine-In. So that's going to make the list along with Hollywood and Vine, which is a buffet and characters. And if you're there, you are there for the characters, not really for the food. So Hollywood Studios in general just isn't really known for their food. I feel like they're more of atmosphere and lounges. And if you want to go to like Baseline or just pop around, get some pretzels, go to Star Wars and get some quick service is always good, but not good enough to make the list. If Ronto's Roasters is fine, but not something that it's like, oh my gosh, it's the best. It's good. It's not great. Let's head over to Epcot, which has tons of restaurants. And so for me, that was kind of a hard one to look at because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much to eat here. And how do you pick? And there are great places at Epcot that are more grab and go. They do a lot of festivals. There are a lot of table service. There are a lot of quick service. I think this might have the most options as you head around. However, where do I find myself? And that's where I kind of wanted to go. And where have I found myself that I said I don't ever need to go back? And that's kind of where I'm in between. As you travel around the countries, I think I have eaten in all of them. I love going to Norway and getting the school bread inside the bakery. That is one of the fantastic places. It's just, grab and go, get some school bread and go. It's if you haven't school bread, it's the soft bread with, I want to say like a cream inside, like a custard with coconut on top. So either you're saying, wow, that sounds great, or this is disgusting. It's really good. I always like the quick service in China. Just go and get like some pot stickers on your way, walk around. They're always good stopping points as you walk around, but nothing that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to stop here for table service or quick service, except for two places, which we will get to. But as we travel around the country, I wanted to point out a few other places that are more just grab and go that you can get. France, the bakery in the back. Unfortunately, everybody knows about this now. It's not a secret. If you don't know the history behind it, when you go back to the left in the France area, where the ice cream shop is, used to be the bakery. And back in the day, really dating myself, you would walk in there. They had two sides going, same as the ice cream place, but it was just bakery. You can get a little sandwich to warm up. You can get little French desserts. Then they expanded it in the back, and now it's still packed. I will say the line does move fast, and their ham and cheese on baguette is so good. There isn't a lot of places to sit, though, unfortunately. It is one of those, like, let's grab and go and get through there. Obviously, there are other great places to go. You always have to go and get the beer cheese soup from the Canada booth, no matter what festival it is. It seems like they have it out there. Granted, you're going to be sweating eating a cup of soup off of a trash can since there's never enough tables. But yeah, there's a lot of good little grab and go places, which I find myself at. Let's start with an overrated. I'm not going to say negative. Overrated places. There are two that come to the top of mind when I think of Epcot, and the first one being the Coral Reef. And as a kid, I always remember I wanted to eat at the Coral Reef because that's where Uncle Jesse and Joey were in on Full House. And Danny was trying to propose to, what was her name? It'll come to me. The lady with the curly hair. And he kept trying to propose to her. And then Uncle Jesse and Joey were in there in the tank. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go to this restaurant, like in Full House. And it looks so cool. You're sitting in an aquarium. It's not great. Very small menu. Unless you're in one of like the few tables that's there, you're not really going to be close to the fish tank. And at the end of the day, you're just basically sitting by a fish tank eating. And ironically, they serve a lot of seafood. So it's like one of those that's like, I'm eating that. It's weird. The other one was one that was on the top of my list for a long time. And I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I finally got to eat here. And I was like, yes, I finally get to go. And I was so disappointed. It was Le Cellier Steakhouse. And people rave about it. I wanted to go because I'm like, oh my gosh, the beer cheese soup and I can get a large portion. Yes, I can. But the steak was nothing to write home about. It was very overpriced considering the portion size. I live in Orlando and there are plenty of amazing steakhouses for half the price, for better portion, for better cut of steak. I just felt like it wasn't a great quality steak. It was very small inside. I was like, this is really it. I know it's a steakhouse, so it's supposed to be dark inside, but it just felt small. Our server was all right. It just, the whole atmosphere, I was like, this isn't really what I was expecting. Especially when everybody plays it up so much as, oh my gosh, you have to go to Le Cellier Steakhouse. Now, I will pick out a favorite quick service and a favorite table service at Epcot. And obviously, once again, I think I have a type. But for my favorite quick service is the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. As I said earlier, I do love barbecue. Woody's Roundup Barbecue. This is barbecue. This got reopened. This is in the American Adventure Pavilion. So they have a great bar outside, and then you can go inside, and they do mobile order as well as walk up, and you could smell all the barbecue going. They have a smoker out front, and they kind of theme it towards the Muppets, which obviously already gets extra points just for being the Muppets. But the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, really good quick service, and it's barbecue. The mac and cheese there was awesome. The barbecue there was really good, and the fact that it's quick service is a real kind of great atmosphere. You have seating inside, seating outside. The large restrooms next door. You can go see the American Adventure Show afterwards. There's just a good atmosphere there. I really liked it. When it comes to quick service, there's not a lot of quick service as you go around the different countries. There's the one in China. Mexico has the one, but that's all outdoor seating. China has the one that's all outdoor seating. I'm trying to think of other ones that might have indoor-outdoor seating. Not much. And this one has indoor seating, which is great, especially during the summer. So get some barbecue and then go sit inside, hopefully. And then for my favorite table service in Epcot, people probably won't agree with me again, but that's fine. Spice Road Table. So this is over in Morocco. This is on the outside, looking over the water. They have indoor and outdoor seating. The outdoor is covered with fans, so I do usually find myself sitting outside. It is more small plates, so a little more like, think tapas style. So you can get small plates. They have hummus fries, which are delicious. Their lamb is very good. They used to have grape leaves. They don't have them anymore. A little upset about that. But obviously, this is a certain type of food that not everybody does like, or people aren't as willing to try something new. The price point is really good, too. I find I love this food. I think the food is delicious, and that's one of my favorite styles along with barbecue, but that's just me. Some people would say, hey, I just want to go to Epcot and have chicken fingers, which, hey, more power to you. Disney chicken fingers are great. But if you want a nice sit-down restaurant along the water, not too expensive, try something new, small plates so you don't really fill up, because that's my thing too. I don't want a large meal if I'm walking around a theme park, for a good price, and you could usually get in within 5 to 10 minutes. You could walk up or do the walk up on your app, and it's pretty easy to get into it. So to me, I'm like, hey, convenience, good food, good price, small plates, good atmosphere, boom, you got me. Spice Road Table, bam. That one's for me. But we're going to head over to Magic Kingdom lastly. Figured save the best for last. Probably my least favorite park in Florida. Just because obviously it takes a long time to get to and it's always crowded. And I find the food isn't the best. But I wanted to think about, okay, well, where do I like to eat? And where do I find a lot of people saying, hey, I think we want to go here, or go and then say it's not that good? So let's start with our overrated. My first overrated is Tony's Town Square, which is the Lady and the Tramp themed restaurant as soon as you walk in on the right. Now, I ate at this one years ago. I've known of other people that have eaten here, and maybe I'm just critical of Italian food, and it's hard to find good Italian food, but this is very, to me, Olive Garden, which if you like Olive Garden, go nuts. Not for me, but Tony's Town Square Theater on the right-hand side is overrated. The other one that's kind of overrated, I would say, is the Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is seems to get more hard to get into. It is a character dining experience with the Winnie the Pooh characters, and it's a buffet. And for the price point, I think you're paying for the characters. You are not paying for the food quality. It's very basic buffet food, nothing to write home about, and it's not cheap because it is character dining. So for me, I avoid character dining just because I have no interest in meeting the characters, and usually I feel like you're paying for the character dining, you're not paying for the food. So these are the two that I skip. Tony's doesn't have characters, but the food is, if I want good Italian food, there are definitely better Italian restaurants. And Crystal Palace to me is, I don't need to meet Winnie the Pooh and his friends and stand in line for a buffet, because basically if I go to a buffet, I'm probably just going to get chicken fingers anyway. But speaking of not chicken fingers, but other kinds of fingers, Casey's Corner is one of my favorite ones. I love the corn dog nuggets. If you want something quick and easy, and right there on Main Street where you could sit and look at the castle, you could mobile order. Don't get me wrong, I'm still bitter that they got rid of the nacho cheese. I guess people are burning themselves on the hot cheese, so thanks. But you just be able to dip your corn nuggets in there. There's hot dogs. It's just that all-American place. They had a Casey's Corner, or at least a Casey's Corner's type, in Tokyo Disney, right there in the same location. And I probably went like 3 times and did the typical American thing where I basically just ate hot dogs in Japan. But they're so good. It's just what you want. The corn dog nuggets, as I mentioned, are great. And this is just an easy one at Magic Kingdom. But if you want something a little bit nicer, someplace that you're going to sit down with atmosphere, there is a place that I recommend. And that's going to be the Skipper Canteen. So the Skipper Canteen is over in Adventureland, across from the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. And it's supposed to be kind of like the mess hall for the Jungle Cruise skippers. It brings over the same theme, the same vibe, the same like jokes. And it's usually not very busy. They have different kinds of food that have more spices and more of a taste than the basic theme park food. And to me, it has a fun vibe, usually not too busy. A little bit more of a unique menu. I like the taste like chicken because it is, which just to give you an idea of what the menu's like, they sometimes have special items. I went in there last time and they had a Brazilian cheese bread, which was delicious, and which they also had at Tiffin's, which was also delicious. And just a nice place out of the heat, get to sit down, and also, if you really want it, they serve alcohol there. So, and you can get that a lot at Disney, at Magic Kingdom at least. So it's table service. They have liquor, they have beer, they have wine, and they have good food. But as I mentioned, these are my opinions, and my opinions alone. Everybody's going to have something different that they think are the best and are overrated, and some people are going to say, I was way off, and that's okay, because we all have different opinions, and that's why there are so many different places to eat, so that there is something for everyone. But hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you at the parks.
Thanks for taking a ride with Average Joe Orlando.
You made it!
I knew you would. Is everyone okay? Hope you still want to open an account.
Say cheese! See you later!
Thanks, everybody! You were brilliant!
At this time, gather up your personal belongings and take your small grubs by their grubby little hands as you exit. Thank you.